Memorial Healthcare is proud and excited to open their new $40 million plus neurology, orthopedic, and community wellness center, now called the Now Building. The 15,000 square foot facility features the highest quality, most sensitive 3T MRI available on today's market. The 3-story building provides area residents a medically based wellness center featuring nutritional, counseling, and group fitness classes, among other offerings. Memorial Healthcare's new wellness center includes locker rooms, private showers, steam rooms, sauna, a lap pool, and more, including a raised track for walking and running with views of the entire Memorial campus and surrounding area. Memorial Healthcare strives to bring healthcare and wellness together, servicing patients' needs from diagnosis to treatment to rehab and beyond. For more details, go online at memorialhealthcare.org or call 989-720-CARE. That's 989-720-2273.
It's time for episode 221 of the 3 Point Podcast, presented by Memorial Healthcare, home of the state-of-the-art Now Community Wellness Center with pool workout equipment, track, and a whole bunch more. We have some fun stuff to catch up on, including maybe some of Jared's dancing moves. We'll talk some sports and have another edition of Tedertainment Tonight, including Top Gun review. Just got back from it today, so looking forward to talking about that. You know, we talked about Memorial Healthcare being our corporate sponsor. Got to pass on a little message from them. Join them for a career showcase. Memorial Healthcare is holding a career showcase on Wednesday, June 22nd at the Now Building Educational Theater from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So if you're looking for a great spot for a career, you got 2 opportunities there to go see what it's all about. Interested individuals are asked to bring a resume to speak with one of their hiring managers about clinical and non-clinical careers at Memorial Healthcare. As they're a medical facility, remember, take your mask. They are required. Memorial Healthcare is an independent community nonprofit hospital with 161 beds and medical staff of more than 200 physicians and advanced practice providers. Nearly 100 positions are available, including but not limited to registered nurses, housekeeping aides, dietary aides, medical receptionists, patient care techs, medical assistants, and a whole lot more. You know, guys, they're the top employer in our area, and there's no excuse to be out there looking for a job when you got a great opportunity here to join the team at Memorial.
Yeah, it's always crazy. You hear about the unemployment numbers and how employers are still struggling to find people to work. You see the now hiring signs everywhere. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when you drive by all the fast food restaurants and you see those now hiring signs, it's like, man, come on, people get to work. Going to work at like a McDonald's or something, maybe that turns people off. Go make a legitimate career at Memorial Healthcare, and there's nothing to say no to that.
Yeah, I took my wife in there today. She had to get a little medical thing looked at, and just looking around the place, the helpful people that work there. There's always somebody there to greet you when you walk in the front door. It's just a great organization. So to view a complete listing of available positions, visit the career page at memorialhealthcare.org, and for more information, email Michaela Cherzan at mchrzan@memorialhealthcare.org, or give them a call, 989-729-4327. All right, I know I've been kind of dragging it out. I know Jared wants to jump in here right out of the get-go.
Yeah, I got a couple different catch-up segments, man. I mean, I'll start with this. If you can't tell from my voice, allergies. First year I've had allergies. And how I know it is because I'll take an allergy pill, everything goes away. Never have had to do that in my life. Never have had these issues. I'm trying to enjoy the summer, 100-degree day outside. I'm at the Tigers game. I'm sunburnt. The soul has been sucked out of me sitting on that third base line for 3 hours and running around the entire park, literally running around the entire park. In 100-degree heat. It
doesn't help when the Tigers are playing the way that they are also.
13 squat, man. But here's the thing. I was working, so it's like I didn't even, and it was doing, social media type stuff around the park. So it was like, I looked up, it was 7-0. Like, what the hell happened? Because when the away team, no one really cheers. You don't really notice when they're scoring. You only notice when the Tigers do something good. Look up, all of a sudden 7 squat. Holy smokes. But that's a long way of me saying basically, I'm battling to do this pod. I'm at about 50% right now. I've had the energy sucked out of my life force, but here I am, showing up yet again to do this show.
A gamer.
I think this is a subtle shot at you, Ted, for the one that you've missed. I think
Is that where
Jared
that's coming
hasn't forgot
from?
that.
I mean, if you want to take it that way, I'm not going to argue it. That's not how it was intended. But hey, I'm not going to argue that because that was ludicrous. It's like you're Cal Ripken, but couldn't quite get there in the early stages. You had to miss one. So
Yeah.
No, allergies
but anyway.
are one thing. I've been lucky enough, at least so far. I've never had to deal with allergies, and luckily, because I know they get bad in Michigan too, but North Carolina is one of the worst states in the country for allergies and pollen and all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of like, if we end up staying here, forever or whatever, I'm almost like just waiting for that one spring to all of a sudden be like, what the hell's going on? So
it's getting old. God, it sucks.
Yeah.
They should tell you that, man. They really never tell you that when you're growing up. You think it's all awesome. You just want to grow up as quick as you can, get to your 16th birthday, drive a car, get to your 18th birthday, be able to do whatever the hell you want to do now that you're a legal adult, get to your 21st for alcohol. But they don't tell you about the ailments that start coming. Basically, as soon as you step out of high school, it's like all your athleticism, all your metabolism, all your everything just goes right out the window, and you're immediately got a dad bod, and you have allergies all of a sudden, and you're sick all the time, and you're tired all the time, and you take naps all the time. It hasn't been good, but I did have a good time this week.
Ted, this guy's only a couple years into his professional career.
I know.
No kids, not married yet and all that kind of stuff. And it's already adding up for him.
Well, I sort of can relate a little bit because I remember when I was his age, and you do too, I'm sure, you didn't really have a whole lot of cares in the world. But now when you started your working career, that's when the reality does set in. I get it, but you don't have a right to complain. Wait till you get to be my age, and that's point now. I mean, I held in there pretty good physically. I played a lot of competitive sports after high school, and it's starting to catch up with me now, guys. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and whine. I'm just going to tell you, the arthritis, ever since I turned 65, it seems like the arthritis has just reared its ugly head. I operate great during the day, but when I want to sleep at night, I'm in nothing but pain and can't sleep. So I have to pop a couple nighttime Ibus, and that's the only way I can sleep nowadays. So you think it sucks at your age? Wait till you get up there.
That's terrifying right there. That's enough to keep me up at night. So
is this we're about 7 minutes in? Is this like a 7-minute Memorial Healthcare extended ad?
Maybe it is.
Basically what we're doing.
I need to get there, and I'm 23. Ted definitely sounds like he needs to be sleeping in a hotel bed tonight, or not a hospital bed tonight. Excuse me,
a water bed.
Yeah, water bed. But the elephant in the room. Let's talk about it. The Tigers game first. A lot of good times down there at the park. There was no other way for this damn game to happen other than for it to have a big old hour-long rain delay midway through.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about when that rain delay happened, it was right after the Blue Jays went on like a 6-0 first two innings. So they're up 6-0 after 2 innings, rain delay for an hour, suck all the energy out of the building.
Just to clarify, you're talking about the Tigers game that you guys went to
Friday night,
not like the Tigers game today.
So think of what we passed up, basically. So according to this deal we signed, this promo from 2019, by the way, we were supposed to attend this year's opening day game and have great seats, pay basically the same seats, pay same price, drink and a beer as well. Instead, what we got was a 8-1 drubbing with a weather delay with about 10,000 people in the stands. But the beer was good. I mean, I haven't been that drunk in a long time. The beers are flowing. There was good camaraderie amongst the group. We met a lot of Detroit locals. That's the funniest thing that's the favorite part about going to these games, man. When I'm at work, I see it every day, and you just kind of get used to it. But when you kind of just really have to sit there and, you got the panhandlers, you got just the people that love Detroit sports that are going to every game. You got the weirdos, the crazy people. It's just like, it's the best spot to people watch. And people, when they see you sitting around, a cooler with some beers, having some laughs, man, it's like a magnet of weirdness that gets drawn to you. So we had a few characters come by. Harold, who basically was a nonstop talker for about 45 minutes, couldn't quite get the hint that we didn't want to keep talking to him. But like I said at the time, when this guy was in the middle of his babbling, just to my cousin, I said this actually, like, just get your popcorn out, poke and prod him, and just appreciate the complete dumb things he's saying for what they are, which is complete comedy. So
That is
it was a
one
great
thing that's
time.
cool. I assume you're talking. You guys did some tailgating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's cool about whether it's Tigers, Michigan, Lions, NASCAR races, whatever. You always see the videos of stupid fights and stuff like that. So that does happen. But for the most part, everyone's there for the same reason, because you're a Lions fan, because you're a Tigers fan. So yeah, it doesn't matter if you're complete strangers. You see a group of dudes with a cooler beer grilling a bunch of hot dogs and brats or something. You roll up and you say, hey, go Tigers. What do you think about this year's team? Next thing you know, it's a half hour later and you just made some new friends. So especially when you got a group of people who are as, outgoing and all that as you guys are. So, it's a fun time.
Well, Jared got the firsthand treatment. Really. It was fun. We did this a few years ago and just had a ball. And this was like part 2. We don't mess around. I hate paying for parking. Number one, it's one of my all-time pet peeves in my life, paying outrageous prices for parking. But when I get down to the Tigers games or even a Lions game, I don't mind paying it, to be, because Matt, we sat, our tailgate was right in front of the stadium parking lot, right in front, out in the open,
right in front of Fox Theater.
Yep.
Nice.
Like Jared said, we had the cooler out. We all had chairs. People were coming by. It was a great way to start the day. We brought our own brewskis there. We left there, went to the Tin Roof, had some lunch, went back, did some more tailgating. We're entertained by Harold for sure. And Jared said it. The game itself, we barely watched any of it. We sat, we had good seats. We watched them go up 6-0, and the rest of the game, we just kind of partied and socialized and had a great old time at the ballpark. I've said it before. You cannot go to a Tiger game and be in a bad mood.
Right.
It's just awesome, the feeling you get.
Yeah, no, it's a good time, even if it's a butt kicking like that game was, and you have a rain delay. You still make friends. You go out in the concourse and you start talking to people or whatever, as long as people aren't being idiots, of course, and stuff. But no, it's still a good time. I was just going to point out, you tweeted out a couple pictures, Ted, of you guys' group and stuff. It was pretty cool. But I did notice you tweeted it out, and it was only like the 7th inning of the game. I was like, did they leave already?
Dude,
I know there was a rain delay, and it was 8-1 or whatever. But I was like, no way they left the game early. This is like a big 2-year in the making trip.
We did not leave early.
No, we didn't. He just was. We always joke about how my generation's always on their phone. You got Mr. Twitter over there, Super 70s Sports on speed dial on that old damn thing. One thing, can I just say my pet peeve about damn Tigers games? Let me know if you've noticed this. So there's 10,000 people at this damn place, in a 40,000 seat stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that the case? And you look up at the stands, very top row, there are people sitting there. And there's 50 rows of nothing below them. They just love the very top row. Like, I hate the people that, they think it's like, and I'll give Comerica credit for this. We were moving all around. They didn't give a shit.
No.
Finally, a stadium understood. Dude, we paid our ticket, man. At this point, you might as well just let us sit wherever we want. Like, everybody's paid. We're not sitting in somebody else's seat. Just let us sit there. And they did. Yeah. They let us sit in a nice little lounge area looking over third base line. With that being said, what is people's deal with staying glued to their chairs in the way upper deck in the worst seats in the house? There's 50 seats below you. Why do you not move down? I don't understand. It's like that's a little game I'm playing in my head. Third inning, I'm gonna check and see if they're still up there. Oh, yep, they're still up there. 5th inning, yep. Oh, still up there. Haven't quite moved yet. I want to do a documentary on these people, man. What is going through their head to make this decision to sit in the worst possible seat in a stadium when there's 30,000 other seats available?
My guess would be one part is for that reason. There's only 10,000 people there. Let's go to the top row. It might be fun. Let's sit at the top, row. We might make it on TV. But I think also there's people, those might be some of the people that go to literally every game. They've got season tickets. So they're like, why do I have to sit down first baseline right behind the dugout? I've done that 20 times. I'm going to go up to the top. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to look at the skyline. I'm going to watch this game, watch all the other people run around and just, enjoy my night.
I don't think they're the season ticket holders way up there. That's what,
I mean, they might be the ones bouncing around.
Could be.
That might not be their ticket. I don't know.
I do remember when I was a little kid going to the Breslin Center, And that is something I did do. I do remember watching like the high school state final. Imagine that, the high school state finals where there's literally maybe 5,000 people in the stands.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting up at the top row for an entire game. Couldn't see a lick of the game, but there's something about being up there that's pretty awesome. But
Yeah.
I just don't understand.
Yeah.
You're not a little kid.
A lot of
Right.
people just don't want to break the rules. You know, it's that's their seat and that's where they're sitting. You
It's
know,
the ticket I paid for, so this is where I'm sitting.
right.
You know,
You're
who
not
cares?
getting me out of here.
No, even all that story, you know, that makes me like, man, that's a good time. So it's something about kind of what you said, Ted. It's something about going to a game, even if you guys are all fans, obviously, but
Right.
even if you're not a fan, don't care about baseball, a night like that with your uncles, brothers, cousins, you know, whatever, even if you get a rain delay, it's a good time, man. That's really cool.
Couple quick tidbits before we move on away from it. We did have really good seats. We ended up with good seats along the first base line, and right out of the get-go, we're sitting in our seats, and my brother George sat his beer down next to his seat, and we had a couple of gentlemen from Japan come by, and one of them kicked over his beer, a full beer, completely kicked over. So George and I had moved back behind the guys so we could chit-chat, and it was about an inning later, and the guys came back down, handed George a full beer. So
Nice.
that was very polite, good thing to do. And the other thing that I wanted to point out, Jared, you talked about getting a little lit at the game, right? Let's just say at the end of the game, one of the riders in my car did not want the night to end at all. He was saying, "Oh, this is a great night." And he goes, "We're not ending the night like this." He gets on his phone, calls Rivals, and says, "Hey, I need a reservation. We can get there by quarter to midnight." Well, listen, it gets better. He goes, "Yeah," he's talking to him, and I'm saying, "We're not going to Rivals. We're going home." And he goes, "Yeah. Listen, FATTAL. You got it? Get us a reservation."
Oh
It wasn't
my
even his
God.
last name.
Name dropping.
Name drop.
That's not good, man. That's the type of stuff that people act like that's how I walk around, or we've all gotten comments like that before. Like, "Oh, you're the Golden family," or whatever.
Whatever.
It's comments like that spread around town and make it sound true. I can't. That is wow. I apologize to Rivals. We should give them a freaking month free of ads for that phone call.
Well,
listen.
you're saying you don't roll up to Coney Island in Owosso, Newport, Coney Island, and drop "Hey, I'm Jared Fattel.
Nobody knows.
Get me in there."
Nobody knows who you are, and if they do, they don't give a shit. "Oh, you played high school football 5 years ago." No one gives a shit other than Ted and his buddies.
Yeah.
So did you guys go to Rivals?
No.
That is
That
definitely
person was
funny.
passed out about 5 minutes later, sleeping the rest of the way home.
That's also one thing that's nice about being the driver. You can be like, "Go ahead and make that reservation. I'm not driving there. I'm driving home." So you can figure out what you want to do.
As for the other big elephant in the room, the wedding this past weekend, I got to admit, I had a great time.
Good.
5 songs I danced to throughout the night.
Wow.
And, I realized this is kind of the first wedding I actually went to that I had some friends there. Everyone, I love my family, man, but it's not like I'm not getting, if I'm at a Tigers game, yeah, we'll get plastered. But if I got a wedding, it's just not this. It's like, what am I getting super drunk for? I just don't really see the entire thing. But now that I went there with friends and stuff, man, I had a good time.
Once your friends start all getting married and stuff, that's really where weddings change.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see, it definitely, totally different experience, different vibe. Went with a girlfriend, a lot of good time. One drink I did try for the very first time because there was only 2 that you were allowed to have: vodka cranberry. I hate cranberry juice, so I didn't drink that. And Seagram's 7 and 7.
Ooh, 7 and 7.
Damn good drink.
That was my first drink ever.
That is the classic first. I tell you what, damn good drink, man.
Yeah.
There's something. It's not like super good, but it's not too sugary, not too alcohol-y. It's the perfect blend, man. I never would have thought to combine what even has all in it: Seagram's, 7 Up, and
7 and 7.
That's it.
Okay,
That's it.
Simple enough. It's
7
very,
and 7.
very,
It's
very
good. It's very versatile. If you want to slam it, you can. It's a great sipping drink. If you just want to sip on it,
Yeah.
It'll get you drunk too. So that's always good.
You gotta be a little careful.
Yeah.
Too drunk. It's a nasty
Let's just
hangover.
say the party spilled over to Corner Pub afterwards. So that's when you know it doesn't matter where in the world you are, you're gonna have a good time when the party rolls up to KP, man. Just keep it rolling.
After parties, that is one thing that's cool about because I went to a couple weddings who they got married around Owosso. receptions at like Gigi's or what's the other ZCBJ?
Yeah, that's who this one was. Yep.
Yeah, one of those other ones. But yeah, when you roll the after party back then, it was Jumbo's or Risto's, and everyone
love that place, man.
Everyone's rolling up with you're all dressed up and
Mhm.
your shirt's already unbuttoned,
Yep,
and you're not even wearing your tie anymore. And you roll in, and all the other locals are like, "Oh
Whoa.
boy, it's a good time."
Yeah, you're the king of that place.
Yeah.
Walk in, you go. That's why I love. If you're part of a wedding party, when you're with like the bride and groom, all of a sudden the whole restaurant, the whole bar is kind of circles around you. There's something electric to that. I do have a complaint though, and Ted, this is basically pointed right at you. And I'm also gonna kind of
What else is new?
I'm gonna pitch you something. I'm
Imagine
gonna pitch you something at the end of this.
Okay.
So this DJ at this wedding, I kid you not, the first 10 songs were from 1985 and older. Like, yeah, there was a couple good like wedding songs in there, YMCA, Shout, a couple good wedding songs, but there's just some weird ones this guy was throwing out, Material Girl, flipping Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Like it was literally like we went to Ted's prom back in 1973. When did you
74
74. And they were just in this, it was like we were transported back in time in this DJ's mind. And here's my complaint, man. So I went up there and told him to play, like, it wasn't like I was going up to request some ludicrous song that only I liked. In the Club, 50 Cent, the #1 wedding song maybe ever made. Like, it's just a great dancing song, get the people going. I requested it. An hour rolls by, still hasn't played. I'm like kind of making this big deal. Like, I'm going to make my big appearance on the dance floor when this song finally plays. Hour rolls by, hour and a half rolls by. We're in 1989 now. We've moved it up a little bit. Finally, it freaking swings around. I go up there again and request it again. Oh, yeah, got it. Okay. Go back down. Okay, the song's about to happen, man. Another 30 minutes rolls by. 1993 now in this DJ's mind. Finally, I sent it like my girlfriend and her friend. Like, maybe this guy just likes girls, man. Have a girl go request a song. Like I said, in the club. That is not that should already have been on the playlist. Like, I shouldn't even had to request that. Finally, they go up there. Finally, it finally gets played, man. As soon as it gets played, all right, no more requests. There's no more requests this wedding.
What?
Yeah.
Random.
Okay, dude. Thanks. You did your job. There's maybe 10 people on this whole damn dance floor dancing. Everybody else left and went outside because what you're playing is not working. So how I finished this by saying, Ted,
yes,
you're retired.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about it. Get a little disco ball, get a nice little iPod shuffle playlist that I could even curate for you.
He's already got his iPod.
You already got the voice. You got the people skills, man. Why do you not? Go make some freaking serious coin and start DJing some weddings. Listen, if this guy could do it this past weekend, playing 1980s and lower, I think you could do it with flipping brain on your shoulders, man.
Wow, appreciate that praise.
First question, we can get back to DJ Ted, because I think you could pull it off, especially with your knowledge of music overall and everything. You would just turn on Sirius XM Classic Rewind and let it roll.
There you go.
But no, so first question. You went with all your friends. How old was the bride and groom?
They were 26.
Like your age?
26.
26. So I'd be curious, because I remember when we got married, the DJ asked us, either give me a full list of songs you want played, or at least a genre, an era.
Right.
So for us, we said like 90s and early 2000s hip hop and R&B. And then we gave them, maybe like 20 songs that we wanted to hear. But then we did specifically say, like, go ahead and take requests. Like, if one of my friends comes up and has a song he wants to hear, play it. So I'd be curious if the couple really wanted to hear 80s.
No. They were told.
That's crazy.
This guy was sold as request-driven DJ, with his main tracks or whatever. Like I said, have you ever heard that? No more requests. That's like something that would be said at like Roll Haven or something back when kids would request 50 songs in a row or something. Right. A few songs requested, and the guy's shutting it down after an hour and a half. Like so then we're just at this guy's mercy. And I'm sorry if you're 60 years old, like, you just do not have a grip on what should be played at a wedding nowadays. There's just no way for you to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do. That's the thing too, Ted. You know this. You've been to plenty of weddings, and Jared, you're figuring it out. Wedding music, there is a little bit of an art to it in a sense, because the music that you jam out to in your car, or if you're working and you have a playlist or workout music or, you know, whatever, isn't necessarily the same stuff that's going to keep a dance floor full at a wedding. You know, like some of these songs, you might be like, this is the best song ever. I love it so much when I'm driving and stuff. But then you play it at a wedding and it's like, you can't really dance to it. Like, this isn't like, what do you do? So, I mean, I think there is like an art to figuring out what's the music that keeps people on the dance floor. And that's the first sign. If you look out at the dance floor and there's the 4 3-year-old kids out there just spinning around, and those are the only kids dancing, you're not doing your job. So yeah, that's got to be disappointing. That's one thing. I don't want to steal the thunder here, but my wedding was like pretty killer. Like, people still talk about it. Like, that was one of the best receptions.
Super wedding.
Yeah. People were like, that's one of the best receptions I've ever been to. Credit to the DJ was incredible. So, I mean, that's part of it. He was just amazing. He played the music we wanted. He could see the music that me and my friends and our party wanted to hear, took requests, and he killed it. So yeah, that's disappointing. I'd be curious. The couple's probably like a little disappointed in that.
Yeah. I'll just close out the part that Jared set up at the beginning. It would be fun
DJ
to
Ted.
do. DJ Ted, but no way. There's not money in it nowadays, man. There's too many DJs out there. Number one. Number two, you got a lot of responsibility and a lot of stuff to take care of. But I think to go along with the music, you got to have personality, man. A good, successful DJ is going to have personality, know how to get the people out on the floor.
Yeah, this guy you never heard his voice. You never heard his voice. You never. And I get it. Like, they didn't have, like, you know, the games or anything. But like I said, yeah, get out of the dance floor for this one, you know, and play. And then that's when you hit, you know, Low or John. Like, like, just like. And I don't want to totally act like I don't like the oldies that get played at weddings. You know, they have their time and place, but you got to mix in, like, that's one every 5 songs. You let one of those rip. If you start the night with a whole hour of that type of music, you know, YMCA, Shout, Material Girl, it's cracking me up thinking of what this track list was. You already lost the whole audience, man. They're already out. You got to strike right when the iron's hot at a wedding. If that dance floor is not popping right at the first jump, it's not going to get popping 2 hours into the night. You have to start strong, and I think he just blatantly missed that.
Depends a lot on the time too. The time, you know, is it right after dinner? What time ballpark did he start playing and the dancing started?
So it was after reception. Then we had like an hour break till dinner. Then dinner. Then this, then like the first dance,
all that.
So it was like, I mean, good hour after dinner, probably 30, 45 minutes, an hour after dinner.
That's what I mean. You got to find the mix, because at that point, no offense, Ted, but the old people are still there. So you got to mix in some of the old music, and the kids are still there. So you got to do the chicken dance. You got to do the Macarena. You got to do that stuff. But also, with a group, you know, your age, Jared, right? You got to mix in a couple for you guys to keep you guys engaged. And then, you know, come 10:30, 11 o'clock, once the kids are gone, the old people are gone. Okay, then you ramp it up and it turns into a club. But
yeah,
I don't know. At the DJ business nowadays, unless you're like the go-to guy for a town or, you know, an area. Yeah, I can't imagine there's a ton of money in it.
That's like hey, I think it's at least like you basically $500 at least for this guy went in disco ball and never said a word, had a playlist on his iPod, which he clearly didn't he didn't change off of it when he couldn't see that the vibe was not happening. And I don't want to, you know, I guess it's probably too late for this, but I don't want to railroad this guy entirely. But I was amazed. I've never had a bad experience with a DJ band, anything. It's always, you know, usually top class, but not the best. Not the best.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, still a good time for you, though. You closed
it
out at KP, and it sounds like a good time. Now, Matt, I mean, this has been a Fattel Open. I mean, you must have done something in the last week or so, huh?
Working, and I think I mentioned it last podcast. We recently moved, so we're still getting all unpacked and settled and stuff like that. I still got just like boxes in random places, and, you know, getting to that stalemate of like, I'm kind of over this, you know. So
right.
What was the main driver behind this move? Was it a bigger place? Was it getting out of the city? What was it?
No, we only moved a couple miles away from where we were, so we're still in the city, but just more space. You know, with the addition that we just had, we needed needed more space, and that's basically it. So it was necessary, but man, moving is no fun, man.
No,
it's not fun.
Well, I'll tell you though, just again, looking at the news lately, you guys both are going to be looking down the road to hopefully get your own house someday. And I mean, just seeing the interest rates have jumped from 3% to 6%. I mean, you must be seeing that in the side of your eyes there, Matt, going, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, hindsight, we're like, man, maybe we should have just jumped in. We've been down in Charlotte now a little over 6 years. Sometimes we're like, maybe we should have 6 years ago just bought a house if we would have known it was going to be like this. But people, I mean, I'm sure it's similar in other places, but people are paying $150,000 over asking price, cash offers, and houses are sitting on the market for a day or two, and it's just stuff that's like, what are you doing? Like, if the market crashes, you're going to be in the red like $200,000 or something. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's going to slow down just because of the jump, and who knows what's going to happen. Hopefully we don't have the R word ahead of us, but I think we need to get more good vibes and karma and talk a little sport.
Yeah, we do.
You guys
I got one for you before we move on to sports.
Sure.
I mean, you have this newborn. How's Wesley doing? What's maybe the best thing you're dealing with him right now? And what's the worst part of this newborn so far?
Shitty diapers.
Yeah, the diapers. I mean, you just you got to do it. It's just one of those things you got to do. The sleep. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. My daughter was, getting to the point where she was 5-6 years old, so she was just sleeping all night. So we were sleeping all night, and then all of a sudden, boom, newborn, and it's like, oh yeah, you can't really do that anymore. You got to wake up. I get home from work sometimes 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. He wakes up an hour or two later to eat. And then I've got to get up a few hours after that to get him ready in the morning for school and stuff like that. So the sleep part, I would say, it's all temporary, though. That's the thing. It's not going to last forever. The best part is, I mean, that's easy. It's seeing him and Claire, him and my daughter interact. I mean, he just watches her. He just like stares at her and smiles immediately when she walks into the room. So seeing them two be like already best friends is definitely cool.
Yeah, I stay up to date on your Facebook postings. He is one cute little kid, man.
Cool guy.
You got to be real happy with that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will get some sports talk here. And, I'll be interested to get your guys' take on what in the heck is going on in golf. And we'll talk about that coming up right after this.
AZEE Printing Solutions, formerly Hankered Sportswear, is a full-service print shop that specializes in screen printing, digital printing, and embroidery. They pride themselves on giving a great product at a great value. The area's go-to printing solution offers a 100% guarantee to exceed your expectations. AZEE Printing Solutions has your favorite local spiritware as well as many other apparel items in stock. Specialty items are available for family, sports, business, and charity events. Call 989-725-2979 or stop into the store in downtown Owosso.
The Wash of Owosso is excited to welcome you to their new and state-of-the-art full-service laundromat, conveniently located at 809 West Main Street in historic Westtown, Owosso. They're open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the coin laundry, or you can drop off your laundry for wash and fold service Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 p.m. Too busy to stop in? No problem, as the Wash of Owosso will pick up your laundry right at your door and will deliver it back to you the next day. Go online to thewashofowosso.com. That's thewashofowosso.com to view pricing, or call 989-472-3322 and schedule your pickup. As a special 3-point podcast bonus, enter code 3PP, that's the number 3 and 2 Ps, at checkout for 10% off your first order. The 3-point podcast team welcomes the Wash of Owosso to our team.
Nelson House Funeral Home's #1 goal is to serve the families in our area. The Nelson House staff are proud to serve our local community with reliability, integrity, and compassion. Unique service representing unique lives, ensuring your loved ones receive the honor and celebration they deserve. Founded in 1880 and continuing the tradition today with chapels in Owosso, Chesaning, and New Lothrop. For more details, find them at nelson-house.com or call 989-723-5234. All right, guys. I mean, we've seen this before in other sports, I mean, the AFL against the NFL, the ABA and the NBA, but now it has come to golf. And man, the LIV, backed by the Saudis, has come out in a big way when it comes to the money. And I don't know how it's going to end up, but it looks like it is definitely going to be a civil war.
It's a joke, man. I mean, Phil Mickelson, over the course, he went from one of my favorite golfers to literally one of my least favorite people maybe on this planet, man. And here's my problem with it. And it's LIV. Like this league is not going to work in terms of like it's not advancing golf. They try to act like this is the new evolution of golf. And, it is kind of like interesting that they do this, the shotgun start. Maybe the PGA Tour should adopt that for like a John Deere Classic or something like that, just to switch it up every once in a while. But this league is 100% money driven, and the players are embarrassed to admit that. And, if they just came out and said like, hey, I'm just doing this because they're paying me more money than I could possibly deny. I mean, if I was like, especially if I was like a young and up and coming player, if they're paying me, 3 times as much as I'm going to make probably over the course of the next 3 years just to join this league, I mean, why would you not do it? So I don't necessarily blame the players. It does seem a little bit selfish. And it's not so much that I get mad at the players that left. Like, I love DeChambeau. That doesn't really change my opinion. I just applaud the guys that stayed because they turned down the money. I mean, Tiger Woods is rumored that they were going to pay him $750 million to join this league.
Before even playing a tournament.
Yeah. And so I guess that basically just makes it made me a bigger fan of Jordan Spieth, maybe a bigger fan of Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, the guys who are really outspoken against this because, hey, they must have some pretty damn good morals if it doesn't take any amount of money to really sway them to join. And what's sad about this LIV league is they're not even trying to act like they're some legit league, man. Basically, it's from what I've heard is that, and I don't know how true this is, but the rumor I've heard is that this is basically Saudi Arabia's way to kind of reach back out to the rest of the world, kind of show like, oh, we're not just that money, like really elite of the people like that are super rich type of, country. Like, we're a good country. And you look at all these players from America and all over the world that are coming to play here in Saudi Arabia. Like, I think it's more that driven than it is like, hey, let's make a great golf league. And that's my biggest problem with it. It looks like it was slapped together. It looks like some softball league that Ted and his buddies slapped together over a thing of beers on a Sunday night. Like, it's just, that's my only problem with it. There's no real substance to it.
You brought up the like AFL and USFL and all these other football leagues that have tried to compete with the NFL and have all failed. XFL, all of these leagues have failed. The one thing that to me is one reason why a lot of those leagues have failed. Well, one, NFL is just king. But also, like, there was never any stars in those leagues. When you would think about, do I want to watch these games? You're like, I don't know any of these players because all of the good players are in the NFL. I think that's one way that the LIV could actually have some staying power because they are getting some big names to go to the league. And if that continues, people want to watch. I mean, Jared, you just kind of mentioned it. People want to watch DeChambeau. And, even Phil, as whatever he's gone through the last year or whatever, people want to watch Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, some of these guys, if some more stars go to that league, I think maybe it could sit around. The money thing's never going to be an issue because we know how deep the pockets are of the people who are running the league. And that's where I don't know enough about it. I've watched some videos and, from some people who work for like Golf Channel, Golf Digest and some other stuff, read some articles and stuff like that. One of my good buddies, John Strine, he's a Corona alum. He is huge into golf. He does some work for Golf Digest or Golf Weekly or something, rating courses. He plays all over the country, just plays a ton of golf. He is very, very against the LIV. And so I've been asking him some questions too. The big thing with it is the moral part. Where is this money coming from? And the people who are running, I get what you're saying, Jared. If you're kind of like struggling a little bit, maybe like DeChambeau hasn't really won as many tournaments as people thought. And they're like, boom, here's 200 mil. How can you turn that down? How, like, you know what I mean? Like, here's 200 mil. Phil Mickelson is all this gambling debt. And they're like, we're going to pay you $400 million or whatever he got. How are you going to turn that down? It's the moral part of it that it's like, where is this money coming from? Because that's exactly what the Saudis are trying to do. Sports washing. They're trying to use sports. They're trying to use golf as a way, like you said, to show the rest of the world, look at us. We're not the ones who execute journalists and we're not the one who do this kind of stuff. We're actually good people. We want to grow the game of golf. And it's like, Yeah, I don't know, man. Like you guys are you're getting dirty money. It's like you're getting money from drug
Blood
deals
money.
is basically what you're doing. Yeah, blood money.
It's
I
like
mean, how many people forget already? You know, I think the majority of the attackers on 9/11 were Saudis, for God's sakes. You know,
Yeah.
and Jared, your point is very well taken. Everybody that's on this tour, how can they not just say, I'm playing for the money? Schwartzel, what do you got? 4.75 million for winning that stupid 54 hole tournament?
yeah.
Come on.
It's well, and that's like if you're and Phil Mickelson, you know, you're maybe gonna win one tournament the rest of your life at the PGA.
Right.
Go take the 200 mil, get the hell out of here. It's just it's sad for the PGA Tour because I really do think they do a good job, and it just seems like this league does not care about making money. It's like they're the Joker, you know, money does not drive
Doesn't
them.
matter.
It does not matter to them. It's all about image. And how do you compete with that if you're the PGA Tour? You know, NFL is huge. Imagine if the NFL just like had a competitor like this that had an empty pocketbook.
Right.
The NFL probably all the guys would leave probably. So
Yeah, like
I guess
think about like a Baker Mayfield. If another league was like, hey, we're gonna give you what the Browns just paid Deshaun Watson, come play in our league, Baker, and we'll give you that contract. He would go over there probably in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, here's the old man perspective. I'll just, you know, Matt, you brought up some of the failed leagues like the USFL and all these others, World Football League, but you know, I remember the AFL. It was the AFL. They signed Joe Namath to a mega contract. It was a huge contract at the time, $400,000. All of a sudden, these players coming out of college were considering the AFL. And the other thing that's very similar to the Saudi situation with the deep pockets, you know, they can throw all kinds of money around. The owners in the AFL, they were big rollers, man. They had the dough. And that's why they forced the NFL to merge. You know, a lot of people forget that. There were two leagues and they merged together. And that's where the NFL is now, as strong as it is.
It's just it's terrible, man. It's not good for golf. It's
Right.
it's a fun little topic to talk about for a few weeks, but give this 6 months. Like, wow, the PGA Tour just lost half their star power. The LIV, yeah, it's fun to watch it kind of as a gag, but these tournaments mean nothing. I didn't even know who won it. Who even cares? It's kind of an interesting little like litmus test.
Yeah.
Of like, you know, how like it's just a funny little thing of like people's morals or where they stand, like what do they think is wrong, what do they think is right. And it's like basically what, like a third of the tour kind of, or maybe not a third, but probably 25% of the tour left. Like, hey, if this money was thrown on the table, you know, say there's an illegal podcast, probably one of us is probably jumping ship. Is basically what those numbers are telling us.
I never will, so that must mean Matt.
So I guess maybe it's me that's running, but it's just kind of like, and like I said, I don't fault the guys for leaving. It's a no brainer really in a way, but it just, like I said at the very start, just makes you appreciate the guys that did stay. And PGA Tour, it almost speaks. Do you think that there'd be these allegiance in the NFL? I don't think there would be. If let's say this exact same thing happened in the NFL, I think they're all leaving. NBA, maybe a little bit more so. MLB, they have no allegiance. They almost didn't even play this season. So I guess that's almost like a positive of the PGA Tour. It's like, man, you guys, for the most part, stayed pretty well intact.
Right. Yeah, NFL probably not, just because of their contracts aren't guaranteed. So like I said, if another league was offering someone $200 million guaranteed to come play, they would probably take that immediately, you know? So I'll be curious to see. The big thing they did get, you know, they have a streaming deal with YouTube. That's always a big thing. Like, where people wonder, where can I even watch this thing? So they have a streaming deal. I'll be curious to see, like, if they ever land on a major network, if CBS or ESPN or NBC ever hops on, that's where maybe they could, you know, get a little more staying power. I don't know if any of the major networks are going to jump in on that anytime soon, just because of all the dirty stuff that's going on. They might kind of be like, we'll show highlights and we'll talk about it, but we're not going to broadcast, you know, these tournaments right now. So, but if some of these up and comers, if some of, you know, like DeChambeau's one of them, and Dustin Johnson, he has kind of fallen off a little bit, you know, but if some of these up and coming rising stars in the PGA jump over there, you know, they could. But
I mean, DeChambeau, that's a huge loss. I'm probably number 2 on the PGA roster. Everybody knows who that guy is. You either love him or you hate him. I mean, that's a big blow. Yeah. I think if everyone else left but him, that no one even gives a shit at all about this. I mean, Dustin Johnson, yeah, pretty big deal, but But Bryson, I feel like, is the one guy who really had like some sway. When he left, it's like, whoa, this is actually kind of a big deal.
Yeah, well, you two guys are probably more expert on this than me, and I just want your opinion. What do you think's going to happen? What is your prediction down the road? PGA outlast them? You think the LIV is going to force their hand, and you're going to get a bunch of people going? How do you think it's all going to?
I heard an interesting comparison on I don't remember what the podcast was to. This league is almost like what the Athletic did with newspapers and journalists. Basically, you know, we're going to pay you way more than a newspaper can pay you. We're going to poach you. You're going to come working on paying unbelievable salaries. People, how the hell are they even making money off of this thing? And now they're kind of struggling. I just don't know. It's like, unless this money is truly unlimited, which maybe it isn't. I don't know how Saudi Arabia works, man. Maybe this money really is unlimited.
See how much gas is right now?
You know, they'll cast it as like a success, and I guess it is. But it's just, I don't know how it could literally actually make money. That's what with a YouTube streaming service, that ain't going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to start having tournaments in the U.S., so that would help, you know, if they get spectators and stuff like that. And if sponsors, if, you know, some of these, but same thing, like what sponsors? Is Coca-Cola, is Pepsi going to want to jump on with this league, you know, run by the Saudis? You know, I don't know about that. So I guess as far as a prediction, I think it's going to stick around for a little while because of the amount of money they have. They're going to keep doing it. They signed Phil. They signed some of these other guys for however many years is in their contract. So it'll stick around. I think the big thing will be, will players like a Bryson DeChambeau, if all of a sudden he can't play in the Masters, if he can't play in the Open Championship, if he can't play in the PGA Championship, the Ryder Cup's a big deal. You know, that's where some players might start to be like, you know what? I want to play in the Ryder Cup, and so I'm going to stay in the PGA. That's where I think it might fall off. If it's a bunch of schmoes like us three playing in the LIV, then no one's going to watch that garbage.
Well, so they can play the British, the US, and the Masters, right? They can't play in the PGA Championship.
Right.
Maybe it wouldn't have any weight behind it, but what if the PGA Tour decided, you know what, we're going to make another major. It's going to be at, you know, the Players Championship or whatever, and you guys can't play in this.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe the gravitas behind that, it wouldn't be there, but if it was a couple years ago, people would definitely like loved it and jumped on board. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe just another kind of twist of the knife to those LIV guys. Give them another major that they can't play in.
Well, stay tuned. And, you know, as I've always said, and it's so true, you know, that greed is the root of all evil. We see it in politicians. We see it everywhere. Corporate leadership are all greedy, and this is just a greed league too. And let's see how it all shakes out, and maybe saner minds, you know, will get it together. We'll see.
I'm stuck on this topic. Do you guys fault the players that left? If you honestly had to say, are you bothered by the fact that they left, or do you 100% see why? It's hard for me to get mad at them. It's just more of their response, you know, right. And clearly they're probably getting told by some PR guy, like, don't say that, obviously, right, that you're only coming here for money, but it's just weird.
I think, you know, both ways. I'm never going to fault someone for expanding their pocketbook and, you know, looking out for themselves and the best of their families. If they can go get another job that pays more and they think that it's going to make them happy, that's your life. It's not my life, you know, but like you've said before, Ted, you had opportunities to go elsewhere and maybe make a little more money or something like that in broadcasting, you know, when you were a little younger and stuff like that. But you loved what you're doing, you know, Crown Owosso, and you stuck around and you're happy. So I think a big thing, and you built like a legacy for yourself. That was one thing that Tiger Woods said. Obviously, Tiger doesn't need any money, but he talked about the legacy. I think that's something, again, that might hurt the LIV. Some of these dudes, I keep bringing up Bryson, even Dustin Johnson, some of these other younger guys. Legacy in golf is a big deal. I mean, that's all you have in golf. What tournaments have you won? How many majors have you won? And if some of these guys run away, they're making $200 million. That's great. You've got generational money now, 5 generations of your family all set. But if no one even knows who you are, you know, they might, then it's like, are you even happy? You're playing in these tournaments that no one even knows about. Yeah, you can go play the US Open and people are like, oh yeah, that guy, I remember him. But you're finishing T40. You know, it's like, who really cares about it? So I don't know. So no, do I fault them? No, I mean, do what you want. It's your life, but
I just want you to save that soundbite where you sort of compared me to Tiger Woods. I want to hear that again.
I mean, look at that backdrop in your man cave. Look at all those trophies back
Yeah.
there and the
Glory
framed jerseys and
days.
stuff.
And one thing that is also kind of funny about it is that all the guys that left were kind of villains. Sergio, Bryson, Patrick Reed. That's kind of just funny. It's like they formed there's the Avengers, then there's the a Suicide Squad or something.
Right.
It's just kind of a funny little comparison that it shook out that way.
Yeah.
I will say you brought up the Athletic, and I've seen multiple times. There's been when NBC Sports started in Stamford, Connecticut. When FS1, when Fox Sports 1 started, out in LA, I was at ESPN, and they exactly what you said, Jared. They were promising all these people working in TV, we're going to pay you more than ESPN. Come live in Stamford, Connecticut. Come and live out in LA, and you're not going to be working those ESPN hours. We're going to pay you a little more. Stole a ton of ESPN people. Grass isn't always greener because a lot of times a year or two later, those people were begging for a job back at ESPN because, maybe certain things weren't the same. Maybe the support from management or, other things, the job wasn't as secure. So, that paycheck, $200 million, that's, hard to turn down from those Saudis. But, once you start playing in it, it might not be the same. The PGA is pretty cushy. The PGA Tour is pretty nice.
Yeah. Just the final thought from me on do I blame the players? These fringe players, not at all. I mean, and like you said, if they're supporting their family and they're trying to better themselves, yes. But what in the hell? Phil Mickelson doesn't have to worry about the money other than the fact that he's probably far more in gambling debt than we even realize.
Right.
Some of the stories I've heard, it's just astronomical. He's maybe should be going to Gamblers Anonymous from what I'm hearing.
Who knows? Maybe he's in debt with some of the Saudis. Maybe he had to go play there.
Maybe, we're spreading that rumor here on 3 Point Podcast. All right. Well, let's move away from golf and the NBA playoffs, fellas. I mean, there's been some good games. We got the Warriors on top, 3-2, big game 6 tomorrow night at Beantown. Celtics got to show up or it's going to end in 6 like my prediction. I think I'm going to stick with it. Stephen is he's playing lights out basketball, and that team is really good. And the other thing, I'm just ignorant. I'm an old guy, should know more about sports, but I forgot Wiggins was the number 1 draft choice, and the way the Warriors got him and the way he's playing right now, they're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, he was a perfect addition to that team, especially with Clay's injury, issues and kind of unsure how he was going to be when he came back. But they're just so deep. Like even in Game 5 when Steph Curry didn't have his best shooting night, Clay had a good game. Wiggins had a great game. Draymond actually had a great offensive game. Poole is always scoring, like a 12 to 14 points, something like that. So they're just tough to guard. Boston's the number 1 defense in the league, and they can't even stop them. So it's impressive what they're doing. But Boston, I mean, they're right there. Winning in Boston, I mean, you watched a lot of those series in the 80s, Ted, in the 90s, whatever. Winning in Boston is hard. So
it is.
And then you always know that the cliche, you never know what's going to happen in a Game 7. So I know the Warriors want to end it. They don't want to go back, play a Game 7. So I have to think Steph Curry is not going to have another shooting night like he did in Game 5, but I'm pretty excited. We're recording. This is Wednesday night. Game 6 is Thursday. I'm pretty excited to watch that game.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this. Would you rather, if you're the Warriors, and we hear all the time about this Boston crowd, Klay Thompson said it, I think Steph, Draymond have bitched about it this series. Would you rather win in Boston in Game 6 or come back home, win Game 7 at home? I think you've got to pick it on the road, man.
You got to win it in Boston. I mean, there's no guarantees, like Matt said. I mean, they took 1 game off in the last series, and closed it out at home. But in the NBA Finals, you can't take that chance. And I think as a competitor, in your face, Boston, right on your floor, right. We're taking it home.
Yeah, it would be cool to shove it in Boston fans' faces, celebrate on their floor. That would be a good time. But it's been a great finals. I mean, every game has been close. There's been Steph Curry's been amazing, like you said. Boston's actually been exciting to watch. So this is it's a perfect one of with no horse in the race, just sit back and watch it. Sit back and enjoy the games.
Yeah, it's the Warriors. When when you really talk about dynasties, how do you not put them up there with the best ever? Let's see. Who do you got to put the Bulls one?
Spurs.
I mean, do you put them two, man? How do you not really put them two? The only reason they haven't won is because of injury. Those 2 years that they sucked, the whole roster was depleted. The 1 year the Raptors won in the finals, they lost Clay and KD in the finals. They've had like 3 different regimes go through. I mean, Jordan had 2. These guys had 3.
How many championships? Incredible. How many championships would this group?
This will be number 4, right?
Number 4. Okay, yeah. Jordan had 6 himself with the Bulls. I mean, you got to, if you're talking dynasties, obviously the Celtics in the 60s with Bill Russell. I mean, that's
all right.
Ultimate. Well, you got to go back there, Jared. It's the NBA. You can't shortchange what they did back then, man. It was a dynasty. Heck, it was a dynasty in the 80s with the Lakers and Celtics in that era. I'll tell you what, a few breaks. The Bad Boys Pistons was a dynasty. They had a hell of a run.
Yeah.
Yeah, people forget about that because of the couple times they lost to the Celtics or whatever. And,
right.
You know, they probably could have won another championship or maybe two, really, if they would have got a couple more luck. The Spurs with Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker, they're probably not up there with the Warriors, but they're one of the best up there, you know, with Popovich.
This Warriors team, you know what? The Pistons almost could have had us if they would have ended up hitting that Carmelo Anthony pick. It could have almost been the same little blend of, you know, old school, new school. And I think we could have saw, like, obviously not to this extent, but that could have been just a fun little, very similar to what we're looking at now, where it's just the fun blend, man. And Wiggins, he's stolen the show this whole playoffs. It just goes to show, who have we been wrong about before, you know, that just had to deal with incompetent coaches, not the best fit. They are using him in entirely the wrong way. I mean, this guy's showing out in the NBA Finals. I don't care who his teammates are. He's playing lights out defense. He's rebounding his ass off. He's making hustle plays all over the court, electrifying the crowd with dunks. 2 huge offensive rebounds a couple games ago near the end. I mean, it's just, who else is out there that we never had this realization with? It makes you think.
Yeah.
Yeah. We write people off, especially in the NBA, way too early. You know, guys come into the league after a year or two in college. They're 20 years old, 21 when they come in to play professional basketball. And if they're not Kevin Durant by year 2 or 3, it's like, this guy sucks. And, you know, that kind of happened with Wiggins. It's always so much about fit. I mean, you think about, if you're a number 1 pick, you're probably going to a team that is awful. That's why they're the number 1 pick. And so, yeah, your team's probably going to suck. It's kind of like Cade Cunningham going to the Pistons. You know, it's like, don't write this guy off, you know, just yet. This team is terrible. You know, he had a good season. Let's let them build a team around him. You know, I don't know if Casey is the guy at coach or, you know, or what, but, you know, give this guy some years. He's only like 21 years old.
Absolutely. Well, before we move on to a little entertainment news, I got to throw this out there, guys. We didn't talk about it preliminarily, but I don't know if you've been following this at all. It's kind of more local, but Lansing Lugnuts broadcaster, Jesse Goldberg Strassler. I don't know how it works out, but he got a call up. You know, Lansing is a high class A, and it's the Oakland A's affiliate. He got called up to go work 3 games on the radio as the play-by-play guy for the Oakland A's at Fenway Park. Last night was his first game. He's got tonight and tomorrow. Can you imagine that? In fact, I reached out to him. I'm going to try and get him on this podcast to just talk about that experience. But, you know, he's been in the business now about 12, 13 years with the Lugnuts. Really a good guy. I call him a kid, you know. I've got to know him a little bit. And it's just to think about the all-time, even if he never makes another game, he made it to the show. 3 games as a baseball radio broadcaster. How cool is that?
It's pretty cool, especially to have the first one be at Fenway Park.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
It's not a bad deal. Better than having to fly out to Oakland and call some. I mean, that would still be amazing. That would still be amazing. But no, it's the pinnacle. I mean, if you're in that game, if you play baseball and you get the call up to play in the big leagues for 1 series, you made it. And now he can say the same thing, even if he, like you said, broadcasts the rest of his career for the Lugnuts.
Right.
He got to call a series in the major leagues. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's an awesome experience. And I think the capper was not only as the big leagues, but Fenway Park. I mean, you just can't beat that. It's amazing.
Probably a great payday too, if I had to guess. You know, compared to what you would normally make with a minor league team, man. What a pay jump! Probably paid for his whole month's salary in those few days of working. It's incredible. What a story! I remember last year we had Dan Hasty of the West Michigan Whitecaps got the call up to fill in for Dan Dickerson for a game, played catch on the field afterward. It's awesome. I mean, this is as our sports media people, that's our version of, like, you know, getting called up to the show. So it's just, you always want to shout out those guys, and it's awesome. The Lugnuts, man. Great
100%.
stadium. Great story.
And he's a great guy too. And I actually had a chance to listen to some of it last night. He didn't sound nervous, and it just sounded really good. So congratulations to Jesse there. All right, we'll be back in a minute after a few more messages and a little Tedertainment, including a Top Gun Maverick review. We'll be right back after this.
Success Group Mortgage and Servicing is Shiawassee County's only licensed mortgage broker, lender, and servicer. That means you get exclusive products not found anywhere else. If you are looking to purchase a home or refinance a home in Florida, Hawaii, or Michigan, stop what you're doing and give Success Group Mortgage and Servicing a call. 989-720-4380. That's 989-720-4380.
Looking to buy items online? Go to crauctions.com. All you need to do is download the app to your phone or computer and start buying and selling today. crauctions.com will market your items all over the country and get them sold. If you are looking to buy something, we can help with that too. Just go to crauctions.com. Search our inventory and place your bid. Plus, there are online auctions for farm machinery, firearms, automobiles, and truckloads of overstocked items. It's fast, it's easy, and you will get results. Get the app and check out crauctions.com today.
Rivals Taphouse and Grille is the area's go-to spot for the best in food and drink. Meet up with your friends and catch your favorite sporting events on over 20 high-def flat-screen TVs
and our 120-inch projection screen.
Rivals can handle your large or small parties and is an awesome spot to put on your fundraising events. Weekly food and drink specials including gourmet burgers, wings, pizza, homemade soup, and salads. Rivals also stocks a large selection of craft and domestic brews. Rivals Taphouse and Grille, the official gathering spot of 3 Point Podcast, located on the corner of Shiawassee and M21 in Corona.
All right, should I jump right in, guys? And because today was the day, it was, 95 degrees here. When I left the theater, I posted on Twitter, my thermometer in the car said 108 degrees. Of course, that's in the sun there at the NCG. But Top Gun, you think I liked it, Jared?
We talked pre-show. I don't even need the review, man. I know you loved it. It's the perfect mix of old school nostalgia with new school graphics. And from what I've heard, they didn't do any green screen on this entire movie. It's all basically real shots. And that was one thing I actually recently rewatched for the first time, Top Gun. That's one thing I noticed from that, man. There's just something so cool about these fighter jets really flying around and the art of dogfighting. And it seems like an incredible movie, and I know you loved it. I'm surprised you didn't show up today with just the stash, man. They're in style now.
They are, right. Well, I will say, I'll break it down quickly for this. Number one, Tom Cruise is a true movie star. I mean, he has the goods, throw out his Scientology stuff that he's got going on there. The guy is a movie star. Put together a great movie. I will say this. They intertwined the story from the original to this one, a bit corny at times, but I will say this, the final 25 minutes of the finale, well worth the bag of popcorn. This is a solid 2.95 on the 3-point scale. Just a great movie. Only reason it's knocked down a little bit, like I said, a little corny in spots. Maybe the script was a little bit weak in a couple areas. And the one thing does bother me a little bit about Tom. He is a megastar, but when he does that Cheshire cat grin all the time, that's kind of his move, irritates me a little bit. But other than that,
that's like everything he does, man.
I know.
Other than like maybe War of the Worlds is the only movie he didn't really flash that in.
No, that's all I've heard. I don't think I've heard anyone say that it's a bad movie. A lot of people have even said they like it better than the original. And the original to me is almost, for an action movie like that, almost like a flawless action movie, just from start to finish. Top Gun is just like so cool. You got some romance, you got a little drama, You got some sad parts, and then the action, like you said, Jared, the fighter jets and stuff is just so cool. You talk about an adrenaline rush of a movie, it's Top Gun. And so, yeah, if the new one is right there on par, I got to see it at some point.
Not really a spoiler alert, but it gets you right in the mood at the very beginning because they kick it off with Danger Zone. Man.
Yeah, you knew that was coming. I knew that. I knew what you were about to, how you were going to finish that sentence right when you started it.
You can't.
So you get what is even the
you couldn't have the Top Gun reboot,
no,
I guess, without that song.
No.
What is the what's the general plot? Like Miles Teller is Goose's son, and he's coming to get trained, and he's basically what Maverick was.
Yeah,
when
Maverick is he's the trainer of the dozen, fighter pilots going to go on this very dangerous mission. And there's a little bit of bad blood between the two. Not only did Goose die, obviously, in the original, but Tom
Spoiler
Cruise,
alert, man, come on.
But the relationship between the two of them, just what you might expect. And at the end, like I said, the final 25 minutes, just killer special effects, or if it was special effects, but the flying of the jets were just incredible. It was a great movie. It's like we like to say, guys, summer blockbuster, because that's what it was.
That's incredible.
I'm not so sure on Jurassic World. I'm going to probably see that, but I've heard some mixed reviews on that one.
And if you watch the previous Jurassic, I don't even remember what the hell that one was called. This new one's Dominion, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The last one was New World or something.
World Dominion, yeah.
If you remember the very first one, Jurassic World, it was awesome because basically what they did, they took the idea of Jurassic Park and they actually flesh out the idea, there actually is a park now. People are coming to it. People are loving it. And the visuals of that movie were incredible. Even that plot wasn't that great, but because the visuals were so awesome and the idea that this park actually happened, it worked. But then in the second one, they got into this whole cloning and basically alien dinosaurs. It almost wasn't even a dinosaur movie. They're in this one little small room. It's not nearly as big scale as the first one was. I don't know what route they went in this third one, but you could see the train entirely falling off the tracks in the second one. And I hate to say it, let's reboot Jurassic World yet again, because we know this idea is so awesome, yet nobody can quite pull it off right. Other than Steven Spielberg, the one movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard to make a dinosaur movie and either make it realistic, like the original Jurassic Park. You can actually watch it and be like, this looks like something that could actually happen. Like this looks
plot
real.
Was great.
Right. It's amazing. Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies. It's either going to be that because it's incredible, like you said, Steven Spielberg and everything, and it's a great movie, or it's going to be like all these reboots that are just cheesy. Yeah, the original Jurassic World, that was actually pretty cool. It was like Jurassic Park turned into Disney World, and there's some cool effects and some action. It was pretty good. I haven't seen the last couple just because of that. I'm like, man, this is so cheesy. I thought it was cool that they brought back the original cast. They tried to do something to be like, hey, let's get connected dots here. I'm not going to see it. I'm going to be honest with you. Just seeing so many people. One of our friends, Jack Sheo, Blue by 90, he said Jurassic World Dominion may be the worst movie I've ever seen in theaters. So I mean,
tell us how you really feel, Jack.
Yeah. Another one real quick. Anthony, friend of the podcast. You can follow him at Go Yanks Go 2442. He didn't say anything about the new Jurassic Park, but Jurassic World, but he actually said he wasn't essentially sold on the original Jurassic Park. He thought it was a little cheesy, basically, is what he said. So,
all right, well,
I don't agree with him.
I think that guy's review gets thrown out. He hates the original Jurassic Park. You don't know movies, man. That movie is perfect. Even to this day, it's perfect. So I'll disagree with him on that. I guess and I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan. One of my favorite movies ever. And that's what kind of really just this trilogy, it really had the bones. Think of everything it had. They had the visuals. They had Chris Pratt as the lead guy, perfectly casted. He's a velociraptor trainer. Mm-hmm. Great little, job for him. And it's just from that point on, it went totally south.
Yeah.
And that's why I just wish they would have hit the reset button. I think they had the idea. They knew what they were trying to do, but then they just got lost along the way and lost the original vision. And that's where I think it went wrong.
That's what I mean with the original, even though it's dinosaurs and they reinvented them basically out of,
DNA,
a mosquito DNA or, whatever. As kind of cheesy as that is, they sold it. It seemed very realistic. That's what I mean. The Velociraptor trainer part, like that story is like, oh yeah, I can believe that. When you start throwing out all this other stuff that they're doing, like you said, the cloning and all these other things, that's where it's like, all right, this is turning into like a cheesy sci-fi movie. No thanks. So knowing some of those reviews and knowing how high I hold Jurassic Park, I have no interest in seeing this one.
It is nice to be able to go back out to the theater though after the last couple of years, man. I tell you what, it was good to go. I am looking forward.
I'll say this. Maybe I want to go see Top Gun. My wife does too. You start having kids. The last movie I saw at the theater was Paw Patrol.
Yeah. Oh God.
The next one, my daughter really wants to see Sonic 2.
Oh boy.
Great flick. Kid Cudi soundtrack.
Yep. Yeah, I was actually kind of like, yeah, let's go see it. I kind of want to see that too. So changes a little bit.
Oh, it does.
You guys really.
I was going to bring up one more summer movie. I was going to bring up. I know you guys are well aware of my fandom of Adam Sandler. I know we've talked about it before. I'm a big Adam Sandler fan. I don't care if he's just starting to pump out movie after movie after movie. I like what he does. I like his comedy. I like him as a person and everything. I did the whole Hubie Halloween review. Thought that movie was great, I
liked it,
even as corny as it was. But his latest one that came out on Netflix, Hustle, is actually getting like incredible reviews. Like I saw some people say they're putting it up there like Happy Gilmore 1A, Hustle 1B. Like they're saying this is on top of Uncut Gems, which, Sandler was up for an Oscar for that movie. We haven't had the chance to watch it yet, but we're going to. It's basically, I'm not even sure on the story. I know it's a basketball movie. I don't know if he's like a trainer or something.
I think it's like he's a scout, and they have this stud he's basically trying to pitch, whatever his pro team is to sign this guy. I think that's as far as I know. It looks like a really like heartfelt, Sandler. Say what you will about the guy. If you don't love all of his movies, man, he puts his heart into them, regardless. And you can tell whether it's Hubie Halloween, he never half-asses something.
No.
And I love this new sort of dramatic side of him. I think he's a damn good actor, not only comedy, but this drama type style with Uncut Gems, now Hustle. And what's cool is that he takes his passions, which is basketball, and he puts it into his movies, and he puts his friends in those movies, and it's just Sandler. How do you not root for him?
Yep. And not only that, he's a hooper, man. He actually plays hoop. He knows basketball, and I've seen a couple clips from this movie, and it looks like real basketball. In fact, real NBA players are in it. One of them, I don't know the guy's name. I think he's from the Utah Jazz. I guess he had just he acted his ass off in this thing.
Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves. I know he's in it.
Is that who it was? I don't think
I know he's in it. But yeah, I think there's a few different ones. It wouldn't surprise me if it's the Utah Jazz as well. But no, that's definitely, and that's on Netflix. I think it's available to watch right now, right? I think.
Yeah, it's available now. Yeah, people are saying it's one of Sandler's best movies. Maybe not, maybe a little Prisoner of the Moment, but I think all those reviews are pretty legit. So I'm looking forward to watching that one.
3-point podcast review next week. You think you can sneak it in there, Matt?
I think we'll be able to knock it out.
All right,
full closure on Sandler. Remember when he signed this Netflix deal? People are, what the hell are they paying him this for? I mean, dude, he's been delivering. Uncut Gems, this one, even Hubie Halloween, like he's constantly putting out stuff. So it seems like a good deal for Netflix.
Yeah. Heck yeah. We love Netflix. We need them for a sponsor.
Yeah.
This is going to be like the LIV. We're going to start getting Netflix as a sponsor.
Never know. All right. Anything else we need to get into? I think we've covered enough, boys, don't you?
Yeah. Any other shows? Summer Tedertainment. Any other shows you guys are getting into this summer?
Stranger Things just wrapped up. Just got
Stranger Things, yeah.
And I will say, I mean, this show is going to be getting better and better. I can't believe how they've navigated, the breaks in COVID, all the years, the kids getting older, everything that's kind of surrounded the show, and they just keep putting out great season after great season, to the point where it's like I'm counting down the days until this last little portion came out. They kept the show the perfect length, 4 seasons. They know what worked, and they keep giving it to us every season with a new wrinkle on top. And from what I basically heard, and if you watch this new season, these guys laid out, this is what they should have done with the newest Star Wars trilogy, and they didn't. these guys laid out exactly where they wanted to go with this show from the very start. So it's like stuff that happens in season 1. You realize like how that happened, in this season 4. It's kind of like they're going back and forth in a way where you realize picking up the pieces, how this all happened, how this town is getting, basically cursed by, whatever this alien Demogorgon type thing is. So it's just really cool to see people that had a vision and they just totally nailed it. I think it's the Russo brothers, I want to say. Let me check that as maybe you guys.
I was gonna jump in, just say I've seen the first 2 episodes. They're okay. I'm gonna go back for episode 3. Have you seen the whole thing, Jared?
Yeah, and I will agree. It starts a little slow. Once the action picks up, it's damn good, and it leaves you at a perfect spot heading into the second part of season 4.
And not only that, the chick that plays 11, man, she has turned into a stone cold fox. I mean, I've seen her on like Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon.
It's like one of the creepier things we've heard.
Well,
the reason I say that is there's a big thing where basically it's weird. As soon as she turned 18, big ordeal about it. It's kind of creepy, and yeah, maybe that gets edited out just to give it.
No, I was going to say I don't know anything about that stuff. I just saying she's a good looking.
Yeah, maybe edit that one out.
It's just kind of like when the twins from Full House finally got 18, and all of a sudden everyone was like, yeah.
Wild comment. That was a wild one.
All right, I guess I better bail out of here now. This has been the 3 Point Podcast presented by Memorial Healthcare, home of the Now Community Wellness Center. And remember, they're looking to hire all kinds of people. So if you're looking for a career move, get a hold of the folks at Memorial Healthcare. Also, give us a follow at 3 Point Pod. Spread the word. I mean, one of the movie reviewers there, Matt, actually tunes into us from California. I don't know if any of us know him, but it's good to get listeners from all over the place. And make sure to let all our great partners know you listen in and enjoy the program. They include Pro Real Estate and Auction, Nelson House Funeral Homes, Rivals Taphouse and Grille, Success Group Mortgage and Servicing, the Wash of Owosso, and the ALS Association of Michigan. Until next time, so long, everybody. Thanks for listening.